I had a homegirl, right? She had an encounter with a guy. She was on him. She hella liked him, whatever. She called me the next day. She was like, yeah, we did woo woo. And I was like, cool, right? A year or so passes. She meets a guy that she's really serious with. And then she's like, so I was thinking about that one guy I was with, and I think he raped me. And I was like, you totally wanted him. You totally called me. You totally told me all the details. Yeah, like, damn. What do you mean right now? But I think it was like the shame that I think she felt that she allowed herself to go there. And then when she met a serious guy, I think to herself, she was trying to make it seem like he overstepped or whatever. But he was like way tossed and she wasn't way tossed. Like she was fine. I think about shit like that. And I'm like, God forbid my sons were to have an encounter with a girl. She fully is, fine with things. And then years, months later is like, the shame that I feel is uncomfortable. So I'm just going to say that you took advantage of me. Hell.
This is another low viewed video. And because of the topic, because when you happen to point out these types of things, this type of truth, a lot of people want to duck around. People want to move the goalposts. People want to make it specifically about them. They want to change the topic. They want to scapegoat. They want to do this. They want to do that. The main thing I'm trying to say is this. This woman was honest enough to speak in front of a podcast and tell everybody about her friend and the fact that her friend was sleeping around with guys. One guy she really liked, they had consensual relations, no problem. After that time, some time passed, she met another guy of which that she really wanted to be committed to. And then she decided that she wanted to go back into the past and look at some names and be like, that's the guy I'm going to sit up there and say that I really didn't enjoy and like the time. And, I'm ashamed. And I'm going to say that he took advantage of me. This is how easy it is for any woman out here to literally do that. That is how easy it is. That's within 5 seconds, any woman out here can destroy a man's life. Can destroy his last name, destroy his legacy, destroy his family, anything of which he has established and built at this current moment in time, just because he had one interaction with a woman. Note how the friend didn't say that the guy was, belligerent. She didn't say that the dude was abusive, that he was a stalker, that he was none of those things, none of those characteristics that a lot of women would normally like to say about guys, none of those were listed in this instance. But yes, somehow, some way, this woman imagined and theorized this whole plot, this lifetime story directly in her mind. And the main thing that I try to get through to a lot of women is the fact that you'll have some women out here that'll happen to say, well, maybe guys should, pick and choose better. There is no way that a guy could know that a woman is going to do this days later, a week later, a month later, a year later, 7 years later, 10 years later, 15, 20 years. No guy is going to be able to foresee the future in that aspect of which a woman can concoct some type of lie in order to try to substantiate some type of grand fairy tale to make herself a victim in order to get the attention from the world and everything else. Again, it's crazy. And the main thing that I normally state is that the only way for a lot of women to understand how bad this is when it affects their sons. When your sons have to die behind these types of lies. Because people got to understand that the moment of time that a woman states something like this, that there are men out there ready to sit up there and avenge, that woman, because they have the believe all women that whatever she says is factual. Why would she lie about something so right? A lot of men are not going to second guess if a woman is lying. They're just going to act, because a lot of women just want guys to act. They don't want them to critically think. They don't want them to theorize. They don't want them to critique or pick apart any of the details of the stories or trying to find faults. They just want them to sit up there and act because they said to act. And behind that, a lot of men end up losing lives. A lot of people's sons have lost lives, and so on and so on and so on. So in order for this to pretty much end the way that it should, or for accountability to be actually taking place, a lot of women are going to have to lose their sons. A lot of women are going to have to lose the most important men in their lives in order for women to actually wake up and realize that this is realistically a problem. I promise you, and I've said this time and time again, and I've tried to, state this to a lot of women out there. To any woman out there that currently has a son, I promise you right now that there is a little girl in his age range who is plotting, who has the type of mental capacity to start to move around certain pieces, to fabricate lies, to weave tall tales and stories. And all she has to do is say that something happened and start crying, and the whole world believes her. That's how crazy it is. Because again, nobody teaches the young girls to be accountable for their lies and how those lies can destroy hundreds of lives, how those lies can break apart families, how those lies can literally end a man's life, or better yet, men's lives. Because in certain instances, if you have men basically fighting, everybody loses. But you know who wins at the end of the day, and who's going to be able to walk away from that unscathed? The woman or the girl who told those lies. And I've made sure to place over time videos of women stating that they have lied because they felt emotionally about a situation. Because they felt emotionally about a situation, they decided that they wanted to fabricate a tale because they wanted that person to feel the exact same way that they felt. And the craziest thing is to go online and to see other women and to justify and to say that that woman was in the right for telling that lie. Wow. But like I said, I guess everybody has to lose in order for people to actually fully learn a lesson. So again, to the women out there, if you have men out there in your lives that you really care about, be prepared to lose them. Be prepared to bury them. Be prepared to visit them in the jails or the prisons or in the hospitals because of the lies of one woman and how it is that she wanted to portray herself as a victim in order to get the limelight, in order to get the type of attention or likes that she pretty much desires, in order for her to get the type of attention that she wants from other men directly out there that may not even find her attractive, even looking in her direction. As soon as she puts up that bat signal, those men are magically going to arrive. Magically, those men are going to show up to pity her, to, try to show her the difference and all this other types. Like I said, attention is a hell of a drug. It's a hell of a drug. And attention is some of the main things, or at least one of the main things, that have taken untold amounts of lives. There are tons of grave sites right now because people were seeking attention. And there's going to be hundreds of thousands more because people continue to seek attention and validation for the wrong reasons. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I stated in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.